Charles Oliveira recently shared his thoughts on who he believes is the best fighter in the UFC right now, and his answer might surprise some fans. Without hesitation, Oliveira named Merab as the current best fighter in the organization. He praised Merab for his incredible work ethic, relentless pace, and dominant performances inside the octagon. According to Oliveira, Merab has been doing a great job, and he's one of the fighters he truly enjoys watching. Coming from a former lightweight champion like Oliveira, that's high praise. During the interview, Oliveira was also asked about who he considers the greatest Brazilian fighter in UFC history. He smiled and reflected for a moment, clearly proud of his country's legacy in the sport, though he didn't give a specific name. When the conversation turned to the best knockout he's ever seen, Oliveira mentioned Max's knockout, saying it stood out as one of the cleanest and most impressive moments in UFC history. He was then asked about the best submission he's ever seen, and Oliveira, known for his own elite grappling, admitted that his mindset around submissions is different. He said he doesn't think anyone will ever replicate some of the moments he's witnessed inside the cage. Finally, when asked about the best fight in UFC history, Oliveira recalled a wild bout shown in the arena before events begin, a fight that inspired the UFC to sign one of the competitors immediately afterward. He described it as pure chaos, with both fighters giving everything they had. "Look at them killing each other," Oliveira said with a laugh, appreciating the raw energy that makes the sport so thrilling to watch. Moving on to another news, Kamaru Usman and Justin Gaethje were recently spotted on the set of the upcoming movie The Naked Gun, starring Liam Neeson. Usman shared behind-the-scenes footage showing him and Gaethje rehearsing their intense fight scene for the film. The clip captures the two UFC stars getting into character, throwing punches, and coordinating their moves with precision. Usman can be seen sitting in the makeup chair, joking with the crew as he gets ready for the scene. "Get this makeup done," he laughs, while the camera pans to the busy set around him. The energy is light but focused as both fighters go over their choreography in front of a small audience watching the rehearsal. Usman, smiling, points out, "We got a real audience today." After wrapping up the take, he jokes that he just missed Justin enough, showing the professionalism and respect between the two. The scene closes with Usman playfully declaring, "I'm the champ. I'm the champ. Justin's the challenger," capturing the friendly rivalry between the former UFC champions, now bringing their combat skills to Hollywood. Moving on to another news, Ciryl Adesanya had a hilarious moment recently when he was mistaken for someone completely different while riding in a taxi. The driver recognized him but couldn't quite remember his name, confidently calling him Iggy Azalea. Ciryl burst out laughing and asked, "Wait, who'd you think I was?" The driver replied, "You know, the famous male UFC fighter, what's his name? Iggy Azalea." Trying not to laugh too hard, Ciryl corrected him, saying, No, wrong guy, bro." The driver quickly apologized, embarrassed by the mix-up, while Ciryl just smiled and shook his head. The funny interaction quickly made its way online, with fans joking that it might be the most unexpected case of mistaken identity ever. Even for someone as recognizable as Ciryl Adesanya, it seems not everyone can quite get the name right. Moving on to another news, Kamaru Usman recently shared his thoughts on Alex Pereira's incredible run at light heavyweight, especially after his knockout victory over Magomed Ankalaev. Usman believes that this win has officially solidified Pereira's place as one of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. Speaking passionately about Pereira's performance, Usman said, "He's special." He pointed out that while Alex doesn't have the tightest defensive style, his unique skill set and knockout power make him nearly impossible to handle. Usman explained that Pereira's defense isn't the craziest. His hands sometimes stay a bit wide, and he's technically there to be hit. But the problem is, no one can get close enough to land clean shots. To hit Pereira, Usman said, you'd have to walk straight into the fire of his devastating left hook. And this time, instead of his signature left hook, Pereira connected with a brutal right hand that landed perfectly on the temple, dropping Ankalaev hard. Usman praised the way Pereira handled an opponent as well-rounded as Ankalaev, a fighter known for his strong grappling and wrestling. He said that this victory makes him legit, silencing critics who doubted Alex's ability to deal with elite wrestlers. For Usman, this win proved that Pereira is no longer just a dangerous striker. He's a complete mixed martial artist capable of defeating any style put in front of him. He added that for everything Pereira has done so far, including moving up in weight and taking on elite competition in such a short time, he's now planting his flag among the all-time greats at 205 pounds. Usman concluded by saying that Alex Pereira's knockout over Ankalaev wasn't just another win, it was a statement, one that cements him as one of the greatest light heavyweights the sport has ever seen. Moving on to another news, Daniel Cormier recently shared his take on the featherweight division, calling it one of the most stacked weight classes in the UFC right now. A new name has entered the mix, Youssef Zalal, who's been on a strong winning streak and has now broken into the top 10. His rise adds even more excitement to an already loaded division. On a recent episode of ESPN's Good Guy, Bad Guy, Cormier decided to play matchmaker for the top contenders at 145 pounds, breaking down the ideal next steps for each of the division's biggest names. DC started by calling out Movsar Evloev for his lack of activity, saying that the perfect matchup for him would be against Zalal. He explained that Movsar, the undefeated English contender, needs to stay active, and Zalal's slick grappling could make for an interesting stylistic challenge. However, Cormier also acknowledged that Movsar's grappling has already been tested against some of the best. He's beaten high-level grapplers like Aljamain Sterling and Diego Lopez, proving that he can handle himself on the ground. Movsar's most recent win came in December 2024, when he defeated Sterling in dominant fashion. As for the next potential title shot, Cormier believes Lerone Murphy is the clear frontrunner. Murphy is coming off a huge knockout win over Aaron Pico and remains undefeated, making him an easy choice for a title opportunity. DC's ideal title fight would be Alex Volkanovski versus Murphy, a matchup that blends experience with momentum. Cormier then turned his attention to the rivalry between Diego Lopez and Yair Rodriguez, saying that fight should finally happen. He explained that the tension between those two makes the matchup not only personal, but also meaningful, as a win could earn either man a #1 contender spot. Cormier believes fans would tune in heavily for that one given the backstory and the stakes involved. As for the rest of the division, Cormier said he'd pair Evloev against Zalal to keep both men active and give one of them a clear push toward contention. If Zalal manages to beat Evloev, he instantly becomes a legitimate title contender. But if Movsar wins again, DC said it would be time to give him the long-overdue title shot he deserves. Finally, Cormier mentioned Aljamain Sterling, suggesting that for now, the former bantamweight champion should stay ready as a backup fighter. DC's breakdown perfectly captures how competitive and unpredictable the featherweight division has become, with every matchup carrying major implications for the future of the 145-pound throne. Moving on to another news, a never-before-seen angle of the infamous backstage brawl between Khamzat and Khabib's cousin has resurfaced online, shocking the MMA community once again. This new footage, captured from a completely different perspective, reveals Khabib's reaction in real time as the chaos erupted. In the original video, most cameras focused on Khamzat rushing at Abubakar and the two exchanging blows before being separated. But this fresh clip paints a completely different picture. It shows Khabib climbing halfway up the cage, looking down directly at Khamzat as the scene unfolds beneath him. You can see the tension in Khabib's face as he watches his cousin being confronted. For a brief moment, it looks like he's about to jump in, but he stops himself, gripping the cage and holding back out of restraint and respect. He clearly understands what's going on, but chooses not to escalate the situation. As he looks away for just a second, his cousin is seen shouting curses at Khamzat, intensifying the moment even further. Fans who have seen the new footage can't believe how close the MMA world came to witnessing an all-out brawl between two of the sport's biggest stars, Khamzat and Khabib. The clip has reignited old discussions about that night, with many realizing it was literally seconds away from complete chaos. In the Caucasus region, loyalty and standing by your people are core values, and this footage proves just how explosive things could have gotten. Khabib's decision to stay calm might have prevented one of the most intense altercations in MMA history. People close to the situation say that had he jumped in, the entire scene would have spiraled completely out of control. Meanwhile, Khamzat is now preparing for his return to the octagon, with talks suggesting he might face either Nasruddin Imavov or the winner of RDR versus Brendan Allen at UFC Vancouver. RDR recently spoke about the situation, saying he specifically wanted to stay on that card in hopes of setting up a fight with Khamzat soon after. He explained, "That was one of the main reasons I wanted to stay active in Vancouver. I think Khamzat might want to fight before Ramadan, which comes in February. So when they talked about pushing my fight with Fluffy Hernandez to a later date, I said, let's just keep working and find a new opponent. I want to stay ready because if I win, there's a real chance to face Khamzat in January." RDR added that the situation has gotten a bit complicated, but remains hopeful. He pointed out that both Fluffy and Imavov have fought Brendan Allen and struggled against him. Brendan came close to finishing Fluffy in the final round of their fight, proving how dangerous he can be. None of them could put him away, which makes RDR believe that if he gets the win, his case for a fight with Khamzat becomes undeniable. All eyes are now on UFC Vancouver, where the outcome could determine who gets the next shot at the surging contender. Moving on to another news, Alex Pereira's recent call-out for a potential heavyweight super fight with Jon Jones has shaken up the MMA world and sparked endless discussions about what could be next for the two-division champion. Many fans have started wondering, what if Pereira doesn't face Jones, but instead takes on the winner of Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane at UFC 321? That matchup alone would be a massive event. However, Pereira has already made it clear that at heavyweight, he only wants Jon Jones. No one else interests him right now. Still, the stylistic possibilities are fascinating to think about. Against Aspinall, Pereira would be facing a complete and dangerous mixed martial artist, someone with elite grappling, sharp boxing, and the ability to mix it all together seamlessly. Aspinall's speed and well-rounded skill set could pose serious problems for Pereira, especially if the fight hits the mat. On the other hand, a fight with Gane presents a completely different dynamic. Ciryl is primarily a striker, known for his fluid movement, slick footwork, and ability to manage distance like very few heavyweights can. That type of fight would play directly into Pereira's strengths, setting up a high-level striking chess match between two of the most technical and composed fighters in the sport. In a recent interview with the National News, Gane opened up about his mindset ahead of his clash with Aspinall. He said he feels like a brand new version of himself, more focused, more mature, and more confident than ever before. Gane admitted that in the past, he might have let outside distractions get in the way, but this time around, everything is different. He's locked in on one goal, capturing the undisputed heavyweight title. "I'm confident for this fight," Gane said. "I don't want to talk about what comes after. I'm focused on this moment. I want this belt, and I did my best during the camp for that. Everybody already knows my strengths. I can move very well, I can manage the distance very well, and my striking is high-level striking. I'm going to manage this my way." He went on to explain that his approach now is all about balance, family, and purpose. "The target is the belt," he added. "I'm not focused on social media or people outside. I'm really focused on my family, my friends, my team, my goal, and my training. Training, training, training." This is a different mindset. Those words from Gane reflect a deep sense of discipline and clarity, qualities that could make a huge difference in his next performance. If Gane manages to defeat Aspinall and capture the heavyweight crown, a future matchup between him and Pereira could be one of the most technical striking showcases in UFC history. Two precision-based fighters, both masters of distance and timing, facing off inside the octagon would be a dream scenario for fans around the world. Moving on to another news, Psycho Stu's friend Douglas Malo, the man who actually pulled Raja off of him during the altercation, spoke with TMZ earlier today and shared his thoughts on the situation now that charges are officially moving forward. Malo said he's relieved that some legal action is finally being taken, but he's also deeply disappointed in Raja for not reaching out or showing any sign of remorse. He explained that Raja hasn't tried to apologize or make amends in any way, choosing instead to stay silent and distant. According to Malo, that silence speaks volumes about where Raja's mindset is right now. He said, "I'd want the best for him if he'd get mental health treatment and seek an evaluation. But if he hasn't taken any steps to do that yet, it just shows where his head's at. He's not taking any accountability." Malo also revealed that he's considering suing Raja once the criminal case is resolved. During the scuffle, Malo was injured while trying to separate the two, suffering a cut above his eye that required stitches. He said, "You can't do a civil case at the same time as a criminal one. So maybe after it's all done, if nobody still pays for my stitches, I might take that step. What really pisses me off is that nobody has offered to pay for the medical damage I got from all that." Malo mentioned that while Stu received some financial help through a GoFundMe campaign, he personally hasn't been compensated for his injuries, adding to his frustration. He also gave an update on Stu's condition, saying it's unlikely he'll ever return to wrestling. Malo explained that Stu's close friends and family have told him the physical and emotional toll has been too much. He said, "From what I've heard, Stu's done with any kind of ring work. I talked to his wife and some of his friends, and I just don't think it would be smart for him to ever step back in there. The damage he took that night, on top of what he was already dealing with, was just too much. He wasn't exactly a spring chicken before this happened." According to Malo, Stu's days inside the ring are likely over, marking a sad and painful end to his career after everything he's endured. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.